Hello, class. This is Demetrius Wilson, and we are now on chapter 6, and we're going to talk about marketing, which is interesting enough. My undergrad major in college, went to Xavier. I don't know if I ever mentioned that in Cincinnati. So there are two Xaviers. There's one in Cincinnati, and there's one in Louisiana. But I went to the one in Cincinnati, Ohio, and that was my major. So before I even get to it, what's also interesting is that I have never had a job in marketing. And those are very coveted jobs that people really, really want and are interested in. And just never worked out. When I got out of school, I went straight into sales. And then I attempted to work on some marketing positions, but just didn't pan out. And then I went into client service and, customer service and things from that, in that direction. So, that ship has definitely sailed. Now I do work with the marketing department and I do, work in that realm and do a lot of things, reference to marketing, but I never technically got a job in marketing, which is quite interesting. But, doesn't mean that, you won't, because, things that you learn will, help you to be successful. And if that's what you're looking for, it should definitely happen. So, as we always start off with the Reading Rainbow section, I'll talk about some ice cream and Max and Mina's homemade ice cream and ices. Very interesting story. Although we're talking about marketing, we're still talking about business and small business and entrepreneurship. So growing up in the 70s, Bruce and Mark Becker loved ice cream. Their grandpa Max used to create all different kinds of ice cream for Grandma Mina and the boys to try. Grandpa was an organic chemist and loved to create some interesting flavors. Years later, after Grandpa Max passed away, Bruce was cleaning out his grandpa's closet and discovered his secret book of recipes. And that's always the interesting part about it. That you see this all the time where people find these recipes and they take it to another level from something that their family had, and it's always so interesting. I find that as a great thing for people to have businesses throughout their family. And it's always interesting, when you see that people have a passion for what they're doing. So you could tell that this gentleman was making all these different flavors. He had a passion for what he was doing with with ice cream. And so it began. It says in the 1980s, Bruce started on his journey and traveled throughout Europe and the United States, doing gourmet ice cream research with all new information gathered and the treasure trove of Grandpa Max's secret recipes. Bruce and Mark opened Max and Mina's Ice Cream in 1997 in a shopping center next to Shimon's Plaza Falafel Dairy Restaurant in Flushing, Queens, New York. They test marketed their recipes directly to the public. The public loved it, and so did the local restaurants and party planners. So a lot of these things that are unique in terms of flavors, things that you get at the fair, like the LA County Fair or Orange County Fair. It's always quite interesting that they have these unique flavors, but that just work. And I think it's Slater's 50/50. Everything they do is with bacon, right? So they put bacon in shakes, and they put bacon in basically everything that they have is bacon in there. Now, I myself don't eat bacon or pork, but it's quite interesting for people to to kind of see those different things and really get into them in terms of something that's just different, but they like it and it works, right? Just like afters, right? Some people say, "Oh man, ice cream inside a donut, that's just too much, just too sweet." Because of my diet now, I can't eat sweets like that. But if I was still in my younger days, I definitely would have 5 or 10, donuts with ice cream in the middle. Because I was like, how can it be too sweet? Because sweet is good. So Max and Mina's ice cream revolutionized America's favorite dessert with daring ingredients and bold innovation. Their unique ability to intrigue and challenge old notions of mundane flavors, like just like chocolate and vanilla, draws unbelievable attention in New York and around the globe. The most distant customer of note was from Australia. Someone who insisted on going to Max and Mina's right off the plane at Kennedy Airport. And that's always great. We say, when I go here, I got to go to this place. And that's when you know that you've marketed, throughout domestically and worldwide. The Beckers make their ice cream products with at least 16% butterfat, putting them into the gourmet category. All their ice creams are kosher, but some products adhere to even stricter dairy guidelines. The shop itself features an array of posters, a display of wacky packages, bubblegum stickers, candy wrappers, a Jerry Garcia etching, and old-fashioned signs. A visit to Maximina's will be an unusual ice cream experience. If you dare to take the plunge, why not try the unforgettable flavors like beer, lox, babka, corn on the cob, ketchup, garlic, or Merlot, just to mention a few. There are also many of the more traditional flavors that you know and love. There's a rotating menu of about 1,000 flavors, but only about 40 ice cream flavors and 8 to 10 sorbets that are available at one time. So Bruce and Mark constantly encourage their patrons to be vocal and brainstorming new flavors, and that's always great. So that's what we're really talking about, the marketing. I want to hear what you have to say as my customer, and then I want to put it into play, especially flavors that complement events. Turkey, ice cream, anyone have any ideas, stop by and give Max and Minas a try, right? So I think that's just fabulous. And although it's a short part, that main part is that they're getting that customer feedback and they're saying, hey, if this is what the people want, this is what we should give them. Just like when you look at one of the videos that I posted in this week's module, it talks about focus groups and how you're going to get more information from a focus group by just sitting down and asking people questions. And then we just recently set up some of our members at my day job with a focus group for our product and development team, which worked out quite well, because they wanted to get some feedback on some of the new features. So some of the learning objectives for this week: define marketing, explain why marketing is so important to small business, explain the marketing concept, the societal marketing concept, and the holistic marketing concept, and define customer value and discuss the role of marketing in delivering it. Explain market segmentation, target market, targeting, marketing mix, differentiation, positioning, marketing environment, marketing management, and marketing strategy. So marketing, by definition, is defined by the American Marketing Association, and feel free to look up the American Marketing Association because they have a lot of interesting stuff. If marketing is your forte and that's what you want to get into, as the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. And then the key point is value, right? If I market something that you don't like, something that you don't need, you have no value for that. So it's irrelevant, right? If I'm marketing trash and you don't need any trash, why would you be interested in what I'm marketing? The marketing concept has guided marketing practices since the mid 1950s. Concept holds that the focus of all company operations should be meeting the customer needs, right? Customer needs, remember that point, and wants in ways that distinguish the company from its competition, right? So what needs are you fulfilling that your competition is not, right? When I walk into your store and you say, thank you for shopping at so-and-so, how may I help you, right? And somebody walks into my store and we don't say anything, it stands out. Chick-fil-A, my pleasure. Those things that stand out. In and out, great customer service, right? They're in there, rapid speed, doing great things with a great attitude and a smile. They've courted a way to meet organizational objectives and achieve profitability. Sam Walton, right? If I've mentioned him before, but he's the founder of Walmart. And also Sam's Club. You get it, Sam Walton, Sam's Club, Walton, Walmart. He put it best when he said, "There is one boss, that's the customer." And he can fire everybody in the company, from the chairman on down, simply by spending his money somewhere else. And that's very true, right? That we used to talk about them as customers that go away in the night, and those are the worst because they don't tell you what's wrong. I'm okay with someone giving me feedback saying, hey, this is what's wrong with your product or service, right? Because I can fix that. But if they just leave and I don't know why they left, that's not going to help me. And it's not their responsibility, right? It's my responsibility to figure it out. The societal marketing concept emerged in the 1980s and 1990s, adding to the traditional marketing concept. It assumes that a company will have an advantage over competitors if it applies the marketing concept in a manner that maximizes society's well-being, right? So it's saying you're going to have an advantage if you say, hey, you know what? Let's look out for society as a whole. Let's look out for, also for the environment. If we do those type of things, it's going to be better, for our company. And you see now, with so many things, social activism and people holding people accountable and holding companies accountable, you see that they've had to get on board with different types of things that, people would have never imagined that they would support. And these days it's like, hey, sometimes you do actually have to pick a side and choose which way and direction you're going. Small business is very strong, is in a very strong position in keeping with the societal marketing concept. And so, although small businesses do not have financial resources to create or support large philanthropic cases or causes, they do have the ability to protect the environment through green business practices, right? So, and I'll give you an example of that. He said how, and although this green wasn't the reason why we did it, it was to save money. But they were like, hey, how can we save money? And they said, okay, set every single printer in the company to default at dual-sided printing, right? So now we're cut our printing costs in half, right? And then they also talked about doing away with styrofoam cups, which is very bad for the environment, and just giving everybody a mug for hot and plastic cup for cold, which worked out really well. So green business practices such as reducing consumption and waste, reusing what they have, and recycling everything they can. Small businesses also have a strong record of supporting local causes. They sponsor, local sports teams. Like I go into, taco market by my house, and they sponsor all the youth football teams and baseball teams and everything. They donate to fundraising events with food and goods or services, and post flyers for promoting local events. The ways of contributing are virtually limitless. And to me, you shouldn't do it for the publicity and the way people look at you. But hey, if that's the reason why you're doing it, hey, whatever makes you do it, if you do it, that's great. Whatever's great, and works and is good for society is the best. The holistic marketing concept is a further iteration of the marketing concept and is thought to be more in keeping with the trends and forces that are defining the 21st century. Today's marketers recognize that they have a complete, comprehensive, and a cohesive approach that goes beyond the traditional application of the marketing concept, right? So everything is connected, right? So even if you have some guy, he's crazy, he's crazy on social media and doing all kind of things. That guy, as you see these days, may get fired because the company doesn't believe in what he's saying, and the fact that he's posting those things out where people can see them. It leaves a bad taste in people's mouth about the company. These are the people there. They'll look at what company you work for, and they're gonna call things out so very quickly. With social media. So I always wonder why people do these crazy things, post these things, post videos. Because somebody's gonna see them and somebody's gonna say something. So I don't know if you're just volunteering to lose your job or you just had enough and you said this is the way that I'm going out. But I never quite got that one. A target market is one or more segments like income and gender, occupation, things of that. So if I'm marketing towards a certain gender, like males or females, or I'm marketing towards people who have a 9 to 5, or marketing towards people who stay at home, whether it be a house husband or a housewife, that have been chosen to focus on that business operation. These are the people who I want to sell my products to. And a lot of times it's very smart because what will you make that everybody needs, right? The things that you would make that everybody needs are probably already being sold. The selection of a target market is important to any small business because it enables the business to be more precise with its marketing efforts, thereby being more cost effective, right? The more cost effective you are, more efficient you are with your business, the higher the probability that you continue to succeed. The marketing mix, right? So you always hear about the marketing mix, right? The product, place, promotion, and price, right? So it's easily one of the most well-known marketing terms, more commonly known as the 4 Ps. Traditional marketing mix refers to a combination of product, right? So if I'm selling this box, right, that's the product. The price, I'm selling it for $10.99. That's the price. The promotion, I've got a commercial on the air, on TV, on the radio. And distribution, right? How is it being moved? How am I selling these boxes? Is it being sold on the internet? Is it being sold, in a brick and mortar company, right? So 2 marketing mixes. This is a good example of how to like run through things and kind of look at them in a good marketing manner. So no matter what the business organization, there will be a marketing mix. The business owner may not think about it in those specific terms, right? But it doesn't matter if you think about it in those terms. It still is what it is. But it is nonetheless. Here's an example of how the marketing mix can be configured for a local Italian restaurant, and it has obviously a consumer market, right? I don't see too many places that are only catering towards businesses, unless it's like craft services that go, like you say, if you go to like in an acting gig, you go and they have craft services, which is super cool, and always so good. But those are, marketing towards businesses, but still, in the consumer realm. And it works really good. Like I know people who own food trucks and they said they're going to a movie set and they say, okay, how much would you normally make on Friday night? And because that's when we're shooting. And they say, oh, well, we normally make $6,000. They say, we'll pay you $6,000 to feed, everybody who's in the movie and the crew and everything else, give them that money. Easy time for them. All they have to do is serve the food. They don't have to worry about too much about, looking for a location where everybody's at. So when we talk about product, you have extensive selection of pizza, hot and cold, sub sandwiches, pasta, meat dinners, salads, soft drinks, wine, homemade ice cream, bakery products, and the best service in town and free delivery. Like everybody says they have the best service in town. Everybody says they have, they have free delivery, they have it or they don't. But everybody says ours pizza tastes the best. Everybody says we have the best service, but can you prove it? The price, right? So moderate, the same price is charged to all customer segments. The promotion, ads on local radio stations, websites, and local newspaper, flyer posted around town, coupons, vowel pack booklets. Like when you move into a house or apartment or whatever, you get that thing that has all these different, ads and coupons for stuff that are mailed to the local area. Sponsor of the Little League teams, ads and coupons in the high school newspaper, and Facebook presence. Well, books slightly outdated because now things have totally changed, and everybody's focus is going to be on social media, right? Most of the advertising is going to go through Facebook, going to go through Instagram, is going to go through Snapchat, like all kind of different things, YouTube, TikTok. It's totally changed, how people are being marketed to. Place, one restaurant is located conveniently near the center of town with plenty of off-street parking, right? So everybody can get their parking and get right into the restaurant. It's open until 10 p.m. on weekdays and 11:30 on Friday and Saturday. There's a drive-through for takeout orders, which is perfect. And they have a special arrangement with the local parochial school to provide pizza for lunch time one day per week. And that's great, right? So now you're getting involved with the community. You got a lot of parking. They've got their bases covered. So here's an example of how the marketing mix could be configured for a green cleaning service business, right? And that's for the business market, right? So I want to say it's I think they're Service One. I forget their name. I interviewed for them before, didn't get the job, but they pick up linen from a hospital, right? So they have trucks that come up, pick up all the linen, clean the linen, bring it back. So that's something that a company doesn't have to worry about. Like a hospital, we don't have to worry about that because they're going to clean it for us, as opposed to us washing it and buying washers and dryers to have on site. So a product, wide range of cleaning services for businesses and organizations. Services can be weekly or bi-weekly, and they can be scheduled during day, evening, weekends, or a combination of. Only green cleaning products and processes are used, so it's nothing that's going to negatively affect the environment. The price is moderate to high, depending on the services requested. Some price discounting is offered for long-term contracts, like you do want to set up with the company. Definitely give you a discount if you want to sign up for a long time. Promotion, ads on local radio stations, website with video presentation, business cards that are left in offices of local businesses, medical offices, local newspaper advertising, Facebook and Twitter presence, direct mail marketing. All right, like I said, most of these things are being pushed out or outdated by all forms of social media. And then place, services are provided at the client's business site. The cleaning staff is radio dispatch, right? So I think it's really good when you look at those things. And even if you're, like I said, if you're a business that does not look at it that way, it's okay. You might not be as successful, but it's okay. But nevertheless, that is still relevant in what you're doing. The external marketing environment must be understood by the business if it hopes to plan intelligently for the future. Environment is not controllable by management. Consists of the following components, right? So external means outside of your company. It's nothing that you can do, about it. I mean, you can influence certain things, but we're saying it's external. You don't have as much direct influence. So social factors, for example, cultural and subcultural values, attitudes, belief norms, customs, and lifestyles. Right. So if I went to an Indian food restaurant one time, and love Indian food. Go to Indian food restaurant, and I think they just opened, and so I said I'm gonna try this one out. It's in Long Beach, and I go there, and there, you could tell that they were just kind of getting off the ground, and the family was all working and pitching in. And I go and ask for, I think, chicken tikka masala or something like that. And when I asked for it, you know, but they just went back and put the order in. But then like the grandfather came back from the back, and he was the cook, and he had the apron on. He came out there. He's like, "Do you want spicy, like American spicy?" He said, "Or do you want Indian spicy?" And I said, "Give me the Indian spicy," because I mean I was very used to eating that type of food and everything. It was so great, but their custom and norm is for it to be a little bit more spicy than most people who are not of that culture would think is very pleasant. For them, it's spice, 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 and I like spice too, so it's right up my alley. Demographics. So, for example, population growth, age, gender, ethnicity, race, education, and marital status. You say, well, marital status. Well, yeah, let's market our business towards people who aren't married. Like who does that? eHarmony, Christian Mingle, all kinds of things like that. They are marketing towards people whose marital status is, is I'm not married, right? Some of them are marketing to people who are married, right? So if you have Tinder and all kind of other different things, but it's still whether you agree with their tactics or what they're doing morally, there's still they have a marketing place and plan a plan in place. Economic environment. So, for example, income distribution, buying power, and willingness to spend. Economic conditions, trading blocks, and the availability of natural resources. Right. Having that willingness to spend is a big deal. Am I willing to spend this money for this? Maybe, maybe not. But either way, that comes into the decision making of a consumer, whether it be a business consumer or a consumer who's buying for their own purposes. Um, you have political and legal factors, for example, regulatory environment, regulatory agencies, and self-regulation. You have technology, for example, the nature and rate of technological change. You have competition, for example, existing firms, potential competitors, bargaining power of buyers. All right. So how can those buyers in the marketplace that are not you as a company, how can they influence or affect what you're doing? And then ethics also, for example, appropriate corporate and employee behavior, right? So that always comes into play, whether we're talking about general business, marketing, or whatever, that's always going to, come into consideration. So that's it for this week. I want to keep it, fairly short. Make sure that you guys get to all of your assignments. Also, if you are missing any assignments or you happen to it slipped your mind that we had a quiz or a test, please make sure that you email me and follow up with me so we can discuss. I want to make sure everybody is learning as much as they can from this course, and then also making sure that they're getting their work complete and doing great. Like I said, it's not a class in which I'm attempting to trick you in terms of our tests or quizzes, but I definitely want you to learn and understand and comprehend and have a good grasp on the material. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to email me. I'll be glad to assist. But otherwise, hope you all have a good day and a great week. I'm sure you guys know that we lost an hour, but what did we gain? We gained another hour of sunlight, or even more. As we move our way towards summer, hopefully everybody's staying healthy and ready to get back to life as it used to be. Thanks a lot. Hopefully you guys have a great day.